Oh my god. Okay, we gotta stop looking at memes. We actually have to get the podcast going. We're gonna be going for...
You can't tell me what to do.
You're not my dad.
You're not my dad.
You're not my dad.
All right, anyway.
So we got some drinks too, also, real quick, just letting everybody know, if you haven't now, stop the podcast and go watch Tanakh.
Oh, Tanakh Tune? Yeah.
Tanakh Tune.
If you don't know what song that is, just go to YouTube, phonetically type out Tanakh Tun.
In fact, fuck what I just said. Don't stop it and then go watch it. Watch this and then go watch it.
No. Pause right now and then go watch Tanakh Tune.
Don't leave me. Okay, now that you're back.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
now that you've returned.
I guess we start off by thanking all the cool folks that subscribed after our last video. That was very nice.
We picked up like 10 subscribers.
Roll Tide.
We were looking pretty good.
That's what, a 300% increase.
Yeah. We were like, hey, all you bums out there watching our videos and then not subscribing, come on, you gotta fix that shit. And then you did, and I'm like, oh, look at that.
It's like, oh, look at those people doing what we asked.
I almost feel like a dickhead for bringing it up. Oh, by the way, sitting in with us tonight is my fiance, Molly Main.
I will flex we need to flex our power of authority over these listeners. Everybody needs to go out and just start screaming at police officers. No,
what you need to do is, since we now have a domain over you, we need you to come to our apartment/houses and give us money. That's what we need.
If I don't have $8,000 on a check in my mailbox tomorrow, you're all dead to me. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, anyway, you know what? We're gonna stop making podcasts.
Let's move on from that topic. Get into it.
Sure.
Over the weekend.
Okay, so topic number 1, cool subs. You guys are really great.
So, over the weekend was this thing. I don't know if it's pronounced the DC fandom or the DC fandom, because there's an E at it or at the end of it. But it was basically this like little weekend fiesta that DC had where they announced a lot of stuff. In my opinion, the most important thing that they showed, and the thing we're going to talk about first, is the Batman trailer.
Ooh.
It was, I don't know, fire.
I mean, they managed to take 25% of the movie. They managed to take a film that they've only shot 25% of and make an amazing trailer.
Make probably the best DC trailer out of a quarter of a film that they've shot. Because they did confirm that before the lockdown went into issue, they had only finished 25%, which makes you think, is it gonna be out next year?
Man, that's what they're saying, man.
Yeah, the trailer did say 2021. They were saying summer 2021.
No, it
December
was
2021.
Okay, so it was originally slated for summer 2021. I think in June, and I think they're still pushing for that.
I mean, but Godspeed to them, but oof.
Yeah, right. Like,
I would rather it come out later. I hope that they don't like
rush
it to get it out by June and end up fucking it up. They need to. They with that trailer, I feel like they kind of caught lightning in a bottle. Everybody is like a buzz about that trailer, and I feel like if after that they just rush out and like shit out the rest of the movie, it's just gonna be a bad show.
Y'all owe Robert Pattinson an apology.
Damn straight.
I never faltered. Look, I can say this confidently.
No, dude,
I never trashed him.
They said that they cast him. I pulled up a picture and I saw his chin, and I was just like, he's perfect. He's perfect.
They said that they cast him, and I was like, oh, I'm not worried. He's done stuff since then. You know what I mean? Since Twilight, that was like good. You know what I mean? And people shat all over him because like bad writing. His performance wasn't even the bad part of those movies. Like he did fine. I mean, he did fine for what he was given.
It wasn't the good part of the movie. But it's kind of hard to find a good part of that.
Yeah. It was the best part of the Twilight movies. Like I was a Twilight herd for a while, and even I can admit the movies aren't great. It's all writing.
You want to know what one of my
put in the work. Like,
you want to know what one of my least favorite parts of the movie was?
What?
Taylor Lautner's alpaca face.
Well, I love how you said the movie because you didn't watch any of them past the first one. And I have to say, I agree.
What makes you think the first one's the one that I watched?
Oh no. Was it not the first one that you watched? The first one's definitely the best, and
really?
And that's not a good thing.
I saw the third one.
Oh,
I think it was the
like
third
Breaking
one. I don't know. I just remember there was a part where like one of the vampires.
Huh?
You remember?
She says that like I'm just like, how dare I not know which one it was out of the 5 terrible movies that came out back to back.
You remember in the tuning exams in Naruto when Sasuke had that sound dude's arms behind his bag over his feet planted? Yeah. The only thing I really remember about that movie is that a vampire did that to another vampire, except ripped his arms whole ass off his body and just chunked him behind him.
You know,
and then he like steps over him and keeps walking, and a few seconds later you see the arms fall in the background. You know, I was like, damn, that's actually pretty metal.
You know what I remember most about the first one? Is actually Robert Pattinson singing a song in the end. I didn't know it was him singing. There's like a fight going on and there's music. There's like a song that plays. I think it's non-diegetic is the way that it is, where it's like not part of the scene. Yeah. And apparently it's called "Let Me Sign," I think. Let me sign. You know the one. You know the one, right, Molly? It's at the end of the first Twilight. Anyway.
Oh, yeah. When he's
sucking the blood out of.
Yeah, he's sucking the vampire.
But
poison.
yeah, hey, you want to know how you stop a vampire from turning somebody else into a vampire? You get another vampire to suck that blood back out. That's how that works. Him sucking her blood out didn't turn her didn't like. I just feel like
it's the vampire's.
It's like using a knife to like. It's like using a knife to dig another knife out of your arm.
Yeah,
like,
it's
fucking Ricky Bobby.
Ricky Bobby.
Yeah, here, jab it in there.
You gotta wedge it out. Cut around it.
Cut around it. Oh.
When he turns her in the last book and everything, he essentially bites her in like 10 different places to get saliva in as fast as possible because she was dying because pregnancy. It was all weird.
Oh.
But,
Yeah, it sounds weird. Yeah.
But no, in her thing, it's the vampire saliva is what turns people into vampires. So by sucking the saliva.
So zombies.
Essentially, yeah.
Look, those movies are dumb. But
anyway,
look, the Batman trailer.
Back to the Batman.
The Batman trailer looks dope, though. So
my favorite scene. I remember I was watching it and I was like, yeah, this is a pretty cool trailer. You know, whatever. And there's the scene where he's in front of that mob and the guy's like, "Who are you?" And then he just like
beats the fuck out of one guy.
Yeah, he just literally eliminates this dude from the film. And then he's like, "I'm vengeance." And I was just like, and it cut straight from that to the back of the Batmobile is revving up. I was like, "Oh god, dude!" That's
and
it.
then when he's rising in the rain, he rises up. I'm like, "Go!"
Yeah.
Look, here's
and
the
then
deal,
at the end of it, when he like takes the mask off, the cowl rather, and sets it down, he's got like the makeup under his eye. Yeah. Dude, he looks so good as Batman.
Here's my only thing, man. I was really hoping that with this Batman, maybe they would make his eyes white. I've always wanted us to have
like white over the cowl.
I've always wanted us to have a live action Batman where they do that.
It always looked neat.
But anyway, no, it's an amazing part. I was so afraid watching it when they said, when he said like, "Who are you?" and then he started beating the guy down. Like, oh, we're gonna have this moment where he goes, "I'm Batman," and then he didn't. He said, "I'm vengeance," and I was just like, It's like that's amazing.
I really like when the dude. We're just gonna spoil the whole trailer for anybody that hasn't seen it.
Oh yeah, if you haven't seen it, go watch it. But
when the guy in the car plows into like the funeral, I think is what I don't really know what they're doing, but he plows and then he gets out and he has like the phone taped to his hand and the message for the Batman across his chest. Dude.
Look, I think we always do spoilers. Like that's just the thing about our podcast is if there's a topic we're covering, best believe we're going to talk about because people don't really want to hear.
They don't want to hear us go. Batman trailer is good. Next topic.
Yeah, no, they want us to actually talk about it. So if you haven't seen it, at the beginning of any of our topics, if you haven't seen it and you don't want to be spoiled, go watch it and then come back. It'll only hurt my feelings a little bit. And they're like, "Oh, well, let me definitely do that because I want to hurt his feelings a lot."
Just step on it.
But no, it's a great trailer. The music is Nirvana's "Something in the Way," I think is what it's called.
I couldn't tell you.
Here, I downloaded this song afterwards because I thought it was good. Hold on, it's "Something in the Way." That's right.
Something in the Way. Well, hell yeah.
So
when you said "something in the way," I thought you were saying like it's like something and then in the way, and I was like, I couldn't tell you what word you're missing there.
No, it is "Something in the Way" by Nirvana, and I was like, oh yeah, it fit perfectly with the tone of the trailer, and it's only 25% of the movie that they've shot.
Yeah.
That's
so
crazy.
they had a small amount to pull from, but what they pulled was fire. And then so apart from that, they also showed a new trailer for Wonder Woman 1984. And not as good of a trailer, in my opinion.
I personally didn't like it.
I thought it was neat. In the really gaudy and ugly the really gaudy, ugly poster they showed us of her in the gold suit, You don't really get a good look at it. I thought it looked dumb. But in the trailer, you get to like kind of see it in action, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, no, that looks neat. I think it looks cool. I'm excited for it. I really liked the first Wonder Woman. Can't wait to see what they do in this one. We get to look at Cheetah, which is cool.
Well, damn, I'm about to sneeze. I think.
Sneeze that way.
Bless you.
The actual opposite way of which that you just pointed, but still away from everybody. Look, I loved the first Wonder Woman.
Oh, yeah, it's a great movie.
I don't think this one's gonna be as good.
I mean, that's just kind of the curse of sequels.
Yeah, but
it's not always like that in sequels. Because I mean, hell, Dark Knight, in my opinion, is way better than Batman Begins.
The stakes of this one don't seem as high. Just based on the trailer, it's like, is she?
I just want to know how Dude got back.
Well, exactly. Well, that's the thing is, they shouldn't have done that.
Yeah. Well, one thing that we hate to see is we hate when like films blow the load in the trailer. You know.
Yeah. Kingsman: Golden Circle did that with Colin Firth still being alive, and this one does it with Chris Pine still being alive, and it's just.
Justice League did it with Superman being alive.
DC has a problem with that. But is it Cheetah? That's her name. Is Cheetah, right? I think. Okay. Is she the main baddie, do you think?
I have no idea.
Because if she is, I don't think that would make for a very compelling.
Yeah, considering that she just like dusted Ares.
Yeah. Yes, yeah, exactly.
Like, whatever. Which, by the way, I'm sorry. Okay,
that's like going from that's like going from defeating the president to like your sequel being you like beat up the like stock manager at Walmart. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I don't know the actor's name, but the guy that played Ares, wasn't that the dude that played Remus Lupin?
Yes.
Okay. He looks good with the mustache, but when the armor comes on and he still has the mustache, I was just like, ugh, I hate it.
I was hoping that when he became Ares, his face would change. Like he would turn into like this mythological creature-looking being,
and he didn't.
And like that, that's just his human form that he uses on Earth. But no, that's not what happened. He had a stupid fucking. That's the only bad. That's really the main complaint I have with the film is that they kept that.
Like up until then, the mustache was fine, and then in the armor, I was just like, ugh.
Yeah, I was like, he's an English gentleman. Whatever. Oh, this like, it went from him being this like kind of suave English gentleman to him being like, oh, this creeper mustache guy is trying to hit me with a sword or hammer or whatever he was using.
I don't remember.
I don't know.
So,
but yeah, Chris Pine is back, and we all kind of figured that. He's been listed as a cast member, but I always hoped that it was just like flashbacks or something, or maybe visions. But no, he's just wholesale back. I was also hoping to see more like espionage stuff in the trailer, because it's Wonder Woman 1984 and.
Well, yeah, dude, not a lick of Big Brother was in that trailer. I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying. I mean, you don't have something set in the year 1984 unless you're gonna like maybe do a little something with that. Even if you just hit on the ideas of authoritarianism instead of
they might. But anyway, so
if it's set in fucking Berlin, maybe.
More about other DC movies. There wasn't so much of a trailer for the new Suicide Squad movie. As much as it was, they like introduced the cast in costume, and I just want to say the new Harley Quinn costume,
phenomenal,
looks great.
It's genuinely amazing.
It looks like she's actually like a villain who needs to be protected and not like meat.
Yeah, it is. The color scheme is way better.
Yeah,
the color scheme fits the comics, but it is a perfect modernization of I don't know whose that was. It is a perfect modernization of her costume.
Yeah, of like the classic red and black costume. Yeah.
And it looks phenomenal. And it honestly, in my opinion, looks like It looks like the Harley Quinn costume Margot Robbie would have designed for herself, having done because she's a good actress. She does the research to all of the. If she plays a character, she does the research on the character, and then she plays the character.
Yeah.
It seems like she like would have designed this costume based off of this is how Harley Quinn would dress, not like. You know what I mean?
Not how like execs want to sell women.
Yeah, not David Ayer, who directed the first Suicide Squad, who just directed a movie with Shia LaBeouf that came out and apparently blows. Which Shia LaBeouf got a full body tattoo.
Not
for
full body, he got a full chest tattoo.
Sorry, a full torso. It wasn't just his chest. He got it on his stomach. He got tattoos on his arms and his stomach and chest. I mean, and on his back. So he got a full tattoo, and I'm just like, bro,
Poor
why
guy.
would you do that? No,
Poor
man,
guy.
fuck him. I love Shia LaBeouf, but why would you do that to yourself if you weren't 100% sure the movie was going to be great? And you know how you definitely don't get that guarantee? When David Ayer is the director.
Yeah.
That's how you definitely don't get that guarantee. But
I
anyway.
think the last bit of like movie news that I know of that they talked about was they showed like, I don't know, like, I guess a teaser for Black Adam, Dwayne Johnson's Black Adam. It was, I don't think any of it was like actual footage. It all looked like artist renderings of stuff, but we got to see like an official DC artist rendering of what he will look like in the role, and looked alright. They gave the name of the new Shazam movie. It was Shazam 2 Fury of the Gods, I believe is what it is.
Dude, The Rock looked really good as
Yeah.
Black Adam.
I need to show you Shazam. That movie kicks ass.
We kind of did. You kind of did. You already showed it to me. Yeah, I watched it with you. I just towards the end I dozed off a little bit and came back,
we fell asleep because we started
But
the
I did
movie at like
watch-
2:30.
I watched a solid 95% of it. I just missed like 5%
Nice.
of it when I dozed off for like
It's
5
really
minutes.
good. It's probably my favorite DC film.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough about movies. Let's talk about video games. They announced 2 video games, I think. One of which was the Suicide Squad, which is going to be made by Rocksteady. Takes place in the same universe as the Arkham games. But watching the trailer, I was just like, okay, that's a little strange because, I mean, it's been a while since I've played the Arkham games, but if I'm not mistaken, Harley Quinn just looks absolutely nothing like she did in those games, and I mean nothing like she did in those
Is it
games.
supposed to be in the same universe?
I just said that. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's confirmed in the Arkham universe.
Okay.
Of course, judging by the trailer, the game's going to take place in Metropolis, though, which I'm excited to see what they're going to do with Metropolis.
Well,
Because, Gotham is, like, always portrayed like this dark and rainy and, like, brooding and, like, overbearingly dim, whereas Metropolis is the opposite. So I'm excited to see what they do with that in, like, a new setting. I'm pretty hyped about that.
I only played one of the Arkham games, and it was the first one.
I played all of them.
I played Arkham Asylum, and very fun game.
I never beat Arkham Origin because I got the PC port for that, and the PC port for that game was unplayable.
How far did you get into that?
I beat the first level. Like, you play a level, you fight the boss, and I went, yeah, I can't fucking do this. And then the other game they announced was Gotham Knights, which is not in the Arkham universe. Won't be. But it is apparently Bruce Wayne is dead. And it's Batgirl, Nightwing, Red Hood, and the Tim Drake's Robin all working together to fight crime. I think from what the rumors have said, it sounds like the main villainous force of the game is going to be the Court of Owls, which we haven't seen in the game so far. So I'm pretty excited about that.
What is the Court of Owls?
Okay, so the Court of Owls is like it's not like a classic thing. Do you know what the New 52 is?
Wasn't it like a new alternate universe?
Yeah, it's pretty much they took everything they'd ever written and said none of that matters, none of it exists. We're starting over. And like the first big Batman arc, the villain of that arc was the Court of Owls. It's like this secret society of people that have been pretty much running Gotham since it was settled. And they have this...
And the Waynes, the richest people, never knew about it?
I think there was like some speculation that Thomas Wayne might have been a member.
Oh.
I think, I don't know. Again, that was like in high school, I'm pretty sure, when I read that. It was definitely in high school. I just don't remember when. But they have this like army of what they call the Talons, which are pretty much immortal assassins that do their bidding. And I think they make them immortal. Like, I don't want to say they like have a Lazarus pit, but I think they do something with like the liquid from a Lazarus pit that like keeps regenerating them. And I thought it was neat because Batman's like, if I can't kill you, that means I can let all out. And Batman just like pretty much mutilates these people, and then they just keep regenerating. It was a pretty cool comic arc.
I know that. Sorry, there was an episode of Batman: The Brave and the Bold, where there was an alternate dimension that basically the superheroes and supervillains, opposite versions of them, like or alternate versions of them, came in, and everybody who was a hero in in the real universe was a villain in that one, and everybody who was a villain was a hero.
Oh snap!
And the reason, what I was thinking of when you said Court of Owls, was Owlman.
Oh
who was
yeah,
Batman's
from Watchmen.
opposite. Well, no, Owlman was Batman's
never mind.
opposite. You're thinking of Night Owl, which is basically Batman, but for the Watchmen.
I thought his name was Owlman.
No, it's the Night Owl.
I need to rewatch.
And there's
that.
two
We
of
need to
them.
watch the series.
There's Night Owl and Night Owl 2. But, yeah, but anyway, there was like an Owl Man that was Batman. That's what I thought you may have been talking about.
No.
But what's your favorite comic? I don't think I've ever asked you that.
Ooh.
It's a big one. I always put you on the spot with these.
Favorite comic is probably Saga. It's an Image comic. It's really good.
Dude, Image comics are the shit.
Oh, yeah, they're fucking fire.
My favorite is Kill or Be Killed. I
It's
love
also
that comic
Image,
series.
right?
I just bought volume 2 and 3. I already had the first like 7 issues individually.
Nice.
And
Have you started them yet?
Huh? No, because I started over, so I started reading those. Oh, you talking about have I started the volumes that I bought?
Yeah.
No, I haven't gotten to those
Okay.
yet. But Kill or Be Killed is essentially this guy tries to commit suicide, and it fails, and then what happens is it turns out he was not. It's not because the suicide attempt failed. It's because a demon stopped him from being able to do that. And then the guy decided that he wanted to live. And so the demon said, okay, you want to live? Well, now you're going to have to pay rent. And the way that you pay rent is you have to go kill bad people.
It's like your rent is souls, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, so it's pretty
That's
cool.
cool.
And it's this guy who doesn't know how to do that. So he has to like...
Yeah.
He's not been in the military, so he doesn't know any kind of hand-to-hand combat, doesn't know really how to kill people or shoot guns.
Yeah. Saga is about... It's like there's an alien planet, and then that alien planet has a moon, and each of these celestial bodies have like their own race that lives there, and I don't remember who's from the moon and who's from the planet, but one of them is like a very tribal-esque species with like horns, and they're very magical. They have like these helmets that they wear that makes it so that their blades can cut portals through space and they can teleport. And they call them like jumper helmets. But anyway, and then the other species is a very like scientifically advanced species with like wings. And they've been at war for as long as any of them know. Shit. They've been at war for a while. None of them know why. And one of the like best warriors from the horned race kind of like he like fights a battle, and he's just like so sickened with the havoc that he's wrought that he turns himself in to the enemies, where he meets a prison guard female of the winged race. They fall in love, and then they have a baby, which is supposed to be impossible. They've been taught like since forever that you can't do that. Well, they have a kid, and now everybody in the galaxy wants that kid. And so it's like they're on the run from both of their homes and all these other forces in the galaxy that want them. It's really cool. There's this race of robots, and the like most important robot character is, I think his name is just Prince Robot the Fourth, and he's like a gray smooth body with a big TV head. But like the TV head can betray him sometimes, because like he'll be sitting there talking to somebody and then have a war flashback, and like the like flashback will play on the screen.
Ooh,
yeah, it's
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a really cool series if you.
How did he get the TV head?
They all have TV heads. The King, he has like a box TV. The King, his dad has like a huge like plasma screen TV for a head. It's neat. It's really good.
Your great grandparents have those really old, like giant, but like the tiny screen, like knobs.
One of my favorite scenes has to do with Prince Robot the Fourth. Early on, his wife gets killed by like a janitor robot, and they kidnap his son. And it's like he's off world, and like it's like the newborn baby. She's like recovering from birth, and he comes in and kills her and takes the baby. And then he finally tracks the guy down, and the guy is like, he's like, I've waited all these years to tell you this. I've been thinking about what I would say, yada yada yada. Will you give me the chance to say it? And then the king just pretty much gets out a lightsaber and like stabs him in the chest. He's like, "Nah, you killed my wife," and like cuts him in half.
Ooh,
Yeah, it's really good.
nice.
Yeah.
So a lot of times you and I will say like, we want to watch this, we want to watch this, we want to watch that, and we talk about like things we're gonna watch. And I think it makes us sound like we don't actually watch anything and we just procrastinate.
Yeah.
But the thing is, we do watch things, and we watch a lot of movies. And obviously we watch things because we review at the end of every one of our podcasts. But something
these
that we
lazy fuckers that get one movie in a week.
Yeah, this isn't the review at all. But we will talk about though. We are actively watching Lovecraft Country when it comes out each week.
Week by week, every Sunday, we're checking it out.
Week by week.
Did I say
You said week.
Week by week, we're checking it out.
And so far I really like it.
Okay, it's based off a book, came out 2016. I read the book last year around. I think I read it in like October, maybe. I don't really remember what month. Really good book. My only problem, this is the problem I've voiced to the both of you multiple times, is one of my favorite story arcs in the book has to do with a character named Caleb Braithwaite. And it is important to that story arc that Caleb Braithwaite is a straight white male. That is important. Caleb Braithwaite is not in this series. However, there is another character who I believe they called him William, I think. I don't remember what it is. But William pretty much looks exactly what I thought Caleb Braithwaite looked like. So when he shows up in the first episode, I was like, oh shit, he is in this. But it's not him. So I'm thinking maybe they'll use that character to tell that story. Which excites me because it makes me think maybe the story is going to live just with a different named characters. I'm excited. I think it'll be cool. Mm. First episode was dope with the vampire attack. They get pulled out into the forest by some... First of all, for those of you who don't know what this is, it's about a family of African Americans living in Jim Crow law America that get wrapped up in a cult that is completely composed of really racist white people. Mm-hmm. And it's like the story of how the cult like engulfs them in and like what it does to their family.
And so the setting for the main character, and it's set up in the first episode, is essentially his dad has gone missing, and he has to find him. And his uncle and an old childhood friend, Letitia.
Uncle George, Letitia, and the main character is Atticus Freeman.
Yep. And first off, the casting for this show has been great.
There's one character that doesn't look pretty much exactly the way that I imagine them, and it's Ruby, Letitia's sister. Letitia's sister, I didn't really imagine her looking like that, and I don't think Montrose had the scar that he has, but that's an actor thing, and I think that actor is perfect for the role.
The thing is, he actually so that actor he had that was like from an accident from a long time ago, and I saw him first when I watched the movie The Road, and he had that scar, and I thought maybe it was just part of the film. Yeah. But then I was looking up the actors, and I don't remember his name, but I read that he has had that scar for a long time, and it's actually helped him get a lot of jobs.
He was in I think the second season of Community. He played a biology teacher, and he did a pretty good job in that role too. I think he's a good actor.
Oh, an actor I'm a pretty big fan of ever since I saw American Crime Story, The People vs. O.J. Simpson, is Courtney B. Vance. He played Johnny Cochran in that one. Yeah. And he's in this as the uncle, and he plays
Uncle George.
He is by far my favorite character.
Which, spoiler alert, we'll just go ahead and throw that out there. Spoiler alert. At the end of the second episode, they shoot and kill Uncle George. Yeah. Which doesn't happen in the book. Like, in the book... Okay, in the show, what happens is the four of them are trying to escape the cult house. Yep. When they get stopped, and then the leader of the cult shoots and kills Letitia, and then shoots Uncle George, but then later on, Letitia wakes up fine, but Uncle George bleeds out and dies.
I think they healed her.
Yeah. In the book, what happens is during that scene, they are running away, and the leader of the cult like freezes them, and then shoots Montrose in the chest, and then the next thing they know, they wake up and Montrose is fine.
And also, the cult leader is Adam.
Okay, he's not actually Adam.
Is he not?
He's
'Cause
not.
He said
he's
he
not,
was.
Well, yeah. They're the sons of Adam. If you're the leader of the sons of Adam, he's like, I'm Adam. He's not actually Adam from Adam and Eve.
Ah.
He's attempting to be Adam.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
He wants to pretty much escape death.
The real question, though, is do we believe that Uncle George's death is going to take?
I hope not, because
Yeah, I hope
Uncle
not.
George is
Awesome.
goes on to do great things, like really cool things in the book.
Courtney B. Vance, I can watch him act all day. He's really great, and he's perfect for Uncle George, dude. Uncle George is my favorite character.
He's awesome.
I loved him when they went to the diner.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that one up. That's probably my favorite part of episode 1.
They went to this one town. What Uncle George does for a living, is he travels across the country, and marks. It's mostly the East Coast area, and the eastern half of the country. But he travels around, and he basically marks down places that are safe for black people. They may, at the time specifically, really black people couldn't go many places without facing some sort of discrimination, even if it was just calling them stuff and harassing them. But places where they were allowed to like eat and hang out, and they wouldn't be like arrested, or beaten, he would mark those places down. And places that weren't safe, where if you go, you'll get, you really run a high risk getting killed. He would mark those unsafe, and he would do that, and he would draw out maps, and sell the maps to the. He'd sell them to, and that's how he made his living.
He compiles it in a book,
Mm-hmm.
and he sells that book.
Mm-hmm.
It's a travel guide.
Yeah, and so that's what he does. Very interesting character. He decides to go along with Atticus to help him find his father, but also so that he can keep going and marking down places.
He has stops on the way to where they're going that he's been meaning to check out because he got some tips, and one of these places is a diner.
It's really a little town, but the diner in the town is where they decide to get food.
And, well, no, I'm pretty sure they were going to the diner because they mentioned the diner before.
Gotcha.
And remember when they pull up in town, they're specifically looking for the brick building across from whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, they get there, and there's one customer, kind of like an old fat white guy, and a really young dude who's like waiting tables. He's just like sitting behind like the counter. Mm-hmm. And they get in there and they seat themselves, and then the customer leaves. Worker brings them menus, and then he goes away. And then, like, Letitia goes to the bathroom. When she's on her way out, she, like, hears him talking to, I guess, the new owner about how they, like, yeah, he mentions about how he didn't serve them because he's, like, scared to because of what this guy did to a woman that did serve black people in the past. And it doesn't, like, tell us right off. But then there's, what was it? Dude, it was Uncle George. Do you know why the White House is white?
And he's like, because they painted it after, what exactly did they say?
Okay, so basically, the War of 1812, the Army of Britain, they came in and they burned down the building that was to become the White House. And then when they had the slaves rebuild it, they made them paint it white. I think it's just to show that, I don't know, to be racist. That's why they painted it white. Cover up the burn marks. That's right. And when they say burn marks, Atticus like puts his foot on one of the tiles and like moves it back, and the floor underneath is like burnt to a crisp. And then Letitia
comes running out. We gotta get the hell out of here.
Get your ass up! We gotta get the fuck out of here,
dude. I like Letitia.
Dude, Holland.
Oh yeah, and dude, Letitia's a G, man. When they got into the car, Letitia had that fucking gun and was like, poof, poof.
No, Letitia wasn't the one shooting.
Was she the one driving?
Yeah, she was driving, busting like mad moves,
Yeah,
dude. And then
drifting. She was drifting in a car that could only reach like 40 miles an hour.
And then later on, they get to Letitia's brother's house, and they're talking, and George mentions that Letitia's slick driving is what saved him, and she's like, yeah, she saved us. And she's like, and you know why? And Uncle George goes, because you're Letitia fucking Lewis.
Yeah, and at the time Atticus was in the back, fucking popping shots behind him, and then. Dude,
He's in the back with his revolver, just lighting him up.
Dude, there was a lot of tension in that first episode, man.
Yeah, and then after
that's just part of it. A lot of shows, that's like the entire episode is that whole situation.
But no,
that was just a small part.
Go ahead.
The thing with Lovecraft Country really, though, is that the true horror is the racism of America. Like, you can put all the eldritch shit in there that you want, but like, the real horror is the true shit.
Then, so after the diner scene, they go on, and I think it's the next day after the diner scene, they stay the night with Letitia's brother, and the next day they're going to the place that's like supposed to be around the location that they're searching for, and they end up.
It's a sundown town.
Yeah, no, it's a sundown county. Which, if you don't know what a sundown like city is, it's like if a black person is in the city when the sun goes down, then they can like take legal action against them.
Yeah.
Whereas,
and what that means is they can shoot them.
Yeah, and this is a county, so they have to. The super like god awfully racist sheriff shows up, and he tells them that they've got 7 minutes to get out of town, and then he like chases them out of town basically, and then they get out of the county, and then they get over a hill, and there's more cops waiting for them. They pull him over, and they take him out into the woods to shoot him. And they get attacked by
werewolves. Not werewolves, vampires.
Vampires, crazy eldritch monstrosities with a lot of eyes that just fucking eat these people. And then the sheriff gets like pretty much his shoulder bitten off, his arm's just like dangling there. And then they're like hiding out in the cabin, trying to stay away from him. And then the sheriff turns into one of them, and so they're like freaking out, trying to get away. And then that's not even the end of the episode, because then they find the Braithwaite Manor, and they get introduced to whatever that guy's name was. I don't remember what was William. They meet William, and he's like, "Welcome home," and then boom, roll credits. Yeah. And ladies and gentlemen, that's the first episode. We didn't even talk about the shit that happens before they left to go on the trip.
Yeah. It's the first episode. I personally like the first one more than the second.
I think it was a great pilot. Episode 2.
It was good.
A little slower. They're there, and it's like the Braithwaites and the Sons of Adam are like really hardcore, fucking with their mind, and you find out that Atticus is like the long lost descendant of, I think it's the founder, of the Children of Adam. And
which means he's automatically a member, and not only that, he's automatically the highest member.
Yeah, he's automatically the leader of the cult, and they end up... They're trying to pretty much use his blood to kill him and achieve immortality, but Christina Braithwaite, who is the current leader's daughter, sabotages it to save Atticus and his family, but killing every other member at the lodge at the time in the process.
Because it's the Sons of Adam, and Christina is a daughter, so she don't get shit.
She don't get shit. But she got everything now, though. Everything from that chapter. She's the only one left. It's really good. Apart from that, before we move any further, real quick, I want to talk about another HBO series we've been watching. A miniseries. I know that's another miniseries, because Lovecraft Country is also a miniseries. But we are currently halfway through Band of Brothers. Now, I've seen Band of Brothers a lot. Like, once a year, me and my dad would watch it before I moved out. And about 2 years ago, I think I showed you the first 3 episodes.
I think it was 4.
But you, Molly, you had never seen it, right? So now we're halfway through. That show kicks ass. If you haven't seen it, do yourself a favor.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
It's probably my favorite miniseries. I mean, really,
If you like World War II war movies, perfect.
Oh yeah. It's got
Ron Livingston in it.
Ron Livingston, David Schwimmer.
Yep.
Simon Pegg is in like the first episode.
Michael Fassbender's also in the first episode. I don't even know if he has any lines. He might have like one or two.
He like apologizes for drinking from his canteen, I think, but that's it.
James McAvoy's in it at one point. I mean, it's got a lot of
James McAvoy's in it.
And
got a lot of talent. Mm-hmm. Not all that talent is present throughout the entire series, but
I'm sure at some point we'll probably wind up reviewing it.
Oh yeah, I'm sure once we finish it we will. Yeah. But it's awesome.
We're about halfway through it. It's pretty great.
One of the best parts about it is I don't think it's in every episode, but in most of the episodes, it will either start or end with like an interview from the people that were still alive at the time that were a part of Easy Company. It's about the 101st Airborne Easy Company that trained and then invaded on D-Day and then fought in Europe until the end of the war.
Yeah.
They're also you'll see this episode coming up soon after Bastogne, I'm pretty sure. They are the company that took the Eagle Nest, Hitler's home with the big golden elevator, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Cool episode.
Company of canceled passes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we'll get more in. I'm holding back from talking about it too much because I know we're going to review it at some point. But just do yourself a favor, watch it, because it won't be too long before now that we review it.
I think maybe 10 episodes.
Maybe in the next, 3 podcasts we might review it.
Yeah.
Because what we're planning on doing, just go ahead and mention it. What we're planning on doing for reviews is today's review. We're going to be doing the part 1 of Frank Herbert's Dune miniseries. That originally aired on Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah,
even though there's
2000, 2001.
Yes, 2000. Even though there's topless scenes, and that was on cable television.
Yeah, you just straight up see Chaney topless, and I was like, huh.
But
that was unexpected.
But anyway, we're gonna review part 1. I think we'll probably review it in 2 or 3 parts.
Yeah.
But we're gonna review part 1 tonight, and then or on this podcast, and then next we're gonna do a double feature review where we're gonna review 2 of the animated Batman movies. And we'll talk more about which ones we're gonna do later on, and then we'll do another part of Dune. We just don't want to do all these Dune reviews at once.
We don't want to overload you guys.
Yeah, it can just get very tiring, I guess. For you, the audience, you don't get to hear any new reviews coming out if we keep doing the same one over and over and over again. So,
which reminds us, next week we're actually gonna be reviewing an American Pickle.
Wait, what?
I said next week we're actually going to be reviewing an American Pickle.
Did we not review it?
No, we did. That's what I'm getting to. That's the joke.
Oh. Right over my head.
Clearly.
Oh, by the way, I think I told you, but I'll reiterate it, man. I was in, we're doing Zoom meetings now.
Oh, yeah, for class?
For classes. Yeah. Not all of them.
But school started back since our last podcast. Yeah. Yay.
But I was not able to go to campus.
Listen here.
I was not able to go to campus the past couple of days just because I had a sore throat, and I was my sinuses were kind of fucked, and they wouldn't let me come to campus. So I joined in on the Zoom meetings.
Big bummer.
Today in class, the professor couldn't hear us, but we could hear her, and it's about communication. And at one point, she proposed the question, "How would you explain Facebook to Abraham Lincoln?" And so I got on the chat log for the Zoom meeting that she wasn't looking at, but all the other people were.
I wonder if she ever saw it.
I don't know. I hope she did, because I think she'd find it funny. But I typed in to the question, "How would you explain Facebook to Abraham Lincoln?" I just typed in, "I would use bullet points to get it through his head." And I was
what's the?
I think she would like that.
I'm trying to think of the joke. I heard some kind of Let's Play. It was like somebody asked, who. Whenever you shoot a basketball, what's the name of that? What's that guy's name that you always yell? And I'm blanking on his name. Who
Dwayne Wade.
Who shot Lincoln? John Wilkes Booth.
John Wilkes Booth.
The guy replied John Wilkes Booth, and he was like, "No, why would you say that?" And he was like, "Look, listen here, all right. He was an awful guy. He did shitty things. He killed a man, but game recognized game, and that dude never missed a shot."
Damn.
Yeah, damn.
Did you know that Kurt Cobain had dandruff?
Shut the fuck up, dude.
Man,
Do not finish that punch.
Oh yeah, they found his head and shoulders behind the couch. Just kidding. Courtney Love killed him.
I don't think Courtney Love killed him. I personally, I don't think he killed himself. He was a very troubled man. I don't think he killed himself, but I don't think that Courtney Love killed him.
Sometimes I will hold back on a joke because I fully plan on being a successful filmmaker who has a career in Hollywood.
So you gotta know what you can and can't say.
Well, so sometimes if there's somebody I would potentially want to meet, I'll joke about just about everybody, but I might hold back on the how insensitive a joke might be against somebody. Like if I know that there's a celebrity that's very self-conscious about their teeth being wide, I won't make a joke about fitting my credit card in there because they might
It's like
they may not want to hear it when I meet them.
You pop off and go a little too far about Dwayne The Rock Johnson, and then you cast him in a movie and he shows up the first day and gives you the people's elbow. Like, I heard you was talking shit, baby.
So that's the thing is, so depending on celebrities I would like to meet, I won't, I might hold back a little bit on my joke. I don't ever want to meet her, Courtney Love.
Yeah,
so I will joke on her every day of the week. She killed Kurt Cobain. But anyway, what were we talking about before I made that head and shoulder?
Something about you were telling the story about how
Abraham Lincoln being shot in the back of the head. Yeah. Oh man. But now instead of saying Kobe, you just say for Kobe. For Kobe.
For Kobe, that's right. I'll never forget the first time I did that. I was back when I was working. We had like a little basket to put like dirty laundry in at the end of every shift, like towel, like use towels and aprons. And I wadded up a couple of towels, and my buddy,
that was almost
my coworker, his name's Will. We call him Big Will.
How big is he?
He's
5'2", 120
pounds. He's about like I think that tall on me. He's a pretty skinny guy. He's a cool dude. But I shoot and I go for Kobe. And he heard me say it, and he was just like, damn, Luke, that's a good one, man. I like that one a lot, dog. That was good shit right there.
Fucking donkey. Man, that's good, Shrek. That's real funny, Shrek. You funny guy, Shrek. That's a nice boulder. I like that boulder. By the way, I don't know if I mentioned this on the last podcast. And the only reason that Shrek reminds me of this is because I just got a Shrek 2 copy on VHS. I don't know if I mentioned this on the last podcast. If you get VHS tapes that you don't want, send them to me.
I think you did mention it.
Did I mention that?
I will remember.
Hammer that home. If you get VHS tapes you don't want, send them to me. I fucking love VHS tapes. By the way, we don't tend to do our podcast sober. I'm working on one right. I'm working on I had a couple.
I'm working on a nice tall bottle of water that's lukewarm. Fuck you.
Oh boy, he's like he's just never heard that one before.
Yeah, right.
I thought it was funny because I haven't heard that.
So we haven't done this segment in a while. So I wish we had a theme song for this.
In a while. It's been like 2 weeks.
I mean, I thought we did this like 3 weeks ago.
I'm pretty sure it was the one before last.
No, I think it was the one before that.
I don't know, man. Whatever.
Look, we don't go back.
Yeah. That's all we're gonna go back and find out.
Hey, Jamie, pull that up.
Oh my god. Pull the clip. Oh, you see that, man?
What's that?
Dude,
Oh,
that girl
no.
would tear you to pieces.
I forgot the.
Have you ever done DMT?
Look, there's Joe Rogan.
Anyway.
Every 5 minutes on Joe Rogan's Experience. So a buddy of mine. There's always a joke that we make, and we didn't make it. I know a joke we didn't make this time. But it's okay. It's a joke. That's left in the past.
Right.
Which one? I don't know
Right,
if we're thinking about the same one.
Yeah,
Okay. Oh, they could hear that too. By the way,
could
sure.
they? Raid Shadow Legends.
God,
anyway, moving on.
I was like, oh, they could barely hear you whisper. Let me just shout and like fucking peek the mic.
Dude, you gotta let them know how strongly we feel about getting paid by Raid Shadow Legends.
Hey, buddy, look, Raid Shadow Legends, listen.
Hey, if you're out there and you want to pay us literally any amount of money to talk about your game in a nice light, you hit us up.
Is it Raid or Rage?
Raid. R-A-I-D.
Yeah.
Raid Shadow Legends.
Like the stuff you use to get rid of like ants and shit.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Or when you go on an attack on a village unsuspectingly.
So look, I mean, yeah. I guess that might be a little more applicable to why they would call it raid. Honestly, I think they're trying to get rid of roaches, but I digress. We have not done this segment in a good like 5 years, and so we're gonna do it now.
Good where 5 years. We've been doing this podcast for 2 months. And it was 5 years ago was the last time.
Yeah. So anyway, we get on Reddit and we go to Am I the Asshole? We do top weekly and we kind of scroll through and find some. This time I really didn't plan ahead, so I just grabbed them at random. So we're gonna read 3 of them, and we're gonna determine if OP is the asshole. So we'll start with this one. Am I the asshole for what the hell is warm under? Oh, I thought that was like a foot right here, and I was like, what the? And I saw that your foot was over there, and I was like, what the fuck is that? So it's my like Mac PC charger. Anyway, am I the asshole for not saying I love you to my daughter?
Yes.
I mean, it depends.
Have
Here
we
we go.
not done that one?
No, this
That
is from 2 days ago.
We definitely haven't done that one.
Here we go. My youngest daughter is My youngest daughter is 22. Whenever she calls, she ends her call with "love you," and I say "you too." At our last talk, right when we were about to get off the line, she asked, "Why don't you ever say I love you back?" I told her because meaningful love is shown through actions. And she said, "I want you to say it." And I said, "Sweetie, you can't force me to say it." Then, wow, what the fuck? Okay, well, look, we're going to get through this. Then she said, "Then I guess I won't talk to you again until you're ready." I thought she was joking, but when I walked in the living room today, my wife was on the phone with her, and she said, "Wait, hon, your dad just walked in," and she said that she didn't want to talk to me unless I said I loved her. Even my wife laughed because, listen, nobody on my side of the family says I love you. My parents never said it to my siblings and I. My biological uncles and aunts don't say it, and my grandparents don't say it. They would say things like, "I'm proud of you. You make me happy. I'm so glad you're my child. I don't know what I would do without you," and so on. All things I've told my child growing up. We believe that love is a given and shown through actions. So I get awkward when girlfriends would say it and expect me to say it back. I never did. In parentheses, I never did. I never said I love you to my wife or any of my 4 daughters and 3 sons or anybody in my whole life. But what I think...
4 daughters, 3 sons? Dude, that dude is fertile.
Yeah. Why would you fuck someone that didn't say anyway? Why would you marry someone that anyway? My youngest daughter mostly grew up around my wife's family who says I love you all the time. Still, some people might say, "Oh, just say it. It won't cost you anything," but to me it will. It's cheap to me. By saying it, it would feel to me that all the love I've shown to her through my actions over the years were meaningless. Am I the asshole?
Yeah, I kind of think you're the asshole.
Pretty extensively, actually.
Look, sometimes all a person needs to hear in life is "I love you" from somebody important to them.
Yep.
And you don't know if maybe she's going through something where like she just needs to hear that from you, but either way, you are depriving her of that.
Yeah.
I think you're the asshole.
Let's see what some of these comments say. You're the asshole, so you don't love her? Because otherwise, why wouldn't you say it? You're just telling the truth. Just because you show it by actions, in quotations, show it by actions, doesn't mean you can't also say it once in a while.
Yeah. ...
Someone else said, someone added on to that.
Actions do speak louder than words, but words still speak.
Somebody added on to that. This refusal to say I love you reminds me of those people who never say sorry. My mom is like that. She's of the opinion that apologizing doesn't change the thing that happened, so there's no point. But you don't apologize for yourself or to undo the thing you did to hurt someone. You apologize because it shows the other person that you acknowledge you hurt them, and you want to affirm their feelings. It's the same with saying you love someone. You do it for them, not for you. No, OP here is definitely the asshole.
Oh, yeah.
Your daughter... I don't care if you've never said it before in your life. He says, "I've never said it to anyone," so you've never said it to your wife. Not on your wedding day, not ever. You've never said that. And his excuse is that's the way... His excuse essentially sounds to me that that's because of the way he was raised.
It's like...
But that's not an excuse.
For a while, my dad's typical response to "I love you" was, But I say "I love you" all the time to anybody that I want to say it to.
You don't say it to me? I don't think you've ever said it to me.
Because I don't fucking love you.
Fuck you. Say it to me.
Dude, I literally told
Say
you.
it.
I said "I love you" before you left to go get food.
Say it. You said it to us generally. I want you to say it right now, Luke.
I love you.
Wow, pussy. Listen,
You know what?
don't drink my beer. You can have a sip if you want.
No, I don't want any.
I love you too, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Not as much as I love gay midget porn.
Oh my god. I mean, if I had to pick one, dude, one,
dude,
you're fucking out of here.
It's like you're like, pick one right now. Gun to my head and start sweating. Like,
No, what's the?
am I true to you or am I true to myself?
What's the one? It's like, Dad, do you love me? Yeah. Do you swear? Yeah. On God, sweats.
Jordan Peele, like just. All right. Here's another one. This one, based on the title, is already a little bit different in terms of like a lot of times I'll read a title and I'll be like, okay, this person's probably the asshole. But this one's a little bit different. It says,
Gotta get that frog out.
Gotta breathe, so I'm not like holding my breath while I try to breathe. Because who wants to read and be like, last week, my 20. So it's am I the asshole for accepting an engagement? Last week, my 25 female sister, 27 female, got married. I went with my boyfriend, 25 male, of 5 years. The reception was going great. Everyone was having a good time. And then I turned around and saw my boyfriend kneeling. He pulled out a diamond ring and asked me to marry him. I said yes because I love him and want to marry him. We got some congratulations, and then the party continued. It didn't seem like it disrupted it very much, and it was after the actual ceremony. A week had passed, and my sister was really mad at me for accepting the engagement at her wedding. I know my boyfriend probably shouldn't have done it at a wedding, but it didn't disrupt it that much. He was dropping hints for the past few weeks, so I assumed it was coming soon, but I didn't know it would be at the wedding, obviously, or I would have told him to wait. As I see it, it's not my fault. I wasn't the one who decided to propose, but I do want to marry him, and I had to say yes or no, so for me it was a clear yes. But my sister has blocked me, and my family is texting me angrily. So Reddit, am I the asshole? Parentheses, not my boyfriend, I'm asking for me.
I don't think she's the asshole. She literally got proposed to and said yes. Now here's the thing. I'm also not going to say that the guy's the asshole.
Oh no, he definitely is.
What I will say is, like, if you're gonna pop the question on someone's wedding day, you definitely clear that with them first.
Mm-hmm. And if your heart is set on asking somebody to marry you on someone else's wedding day at their wedding, you take that shit outside.
Yeah, you go
private.
else.
You go somewhere private and do that, or you don't do it there at all unless you get permission from them.
Yeah.
I personally would not give that permission to anybody.
Yeah. For the writer and everything, like, she's not the asshole because he was going to make the scene either way.
Yeah. She had no way of knowing he was going to do that.
Yeah. So she's not the asshole, but he's definitely.
Yeah, he's a big time dickhead.
And her sister, I mean, yeah, that happened and everything, but like she's angry and she needs to get the fuck out of herself.
I would I'd be like, I don't think that the sister's the asshole at all either.
I didn't say she's an
because
asshole.
I don't think it's a matter of like getting over yourself. I think it's a matter of like putting your anger where it goes, and it's not at your sister's feet because she said yes to the proposition. Put it at your sister's now fiance's feet, and be like, "Hey, fuckwad, did you know what you were doing when you did that? You were at my wedding and you asked someone. You know what I mean? It's like it's not. Listen, people think that people would say, well, that's being selfish. Here's the deal: being selfish is not inherently a bad thing. People all the time treat selfishness like it's this taboo that you're never allowed to be selfish, and that's just simply not the case. Yeah. People are selfish every day. Self-preservation is selfish. Buying something because you would like it is selfish. There are selfish things that you do every day. Selfishness is not inherently bad. And so for you to say, I want one day out of my lifetime where it's about me and my partner and nobody else, that's not too much to ask. And if someone can't accept that, they shouldn't come.
Yeah, fuck off.
No, it's absolutely inappropriate. When I asked Molly to marry me, none of our friends were around. Mm-hmm. It wasn't necessarily in private, but it wasn't like a huge spectacle we were making in front of everybody. We were at the airport about to go on this vacation that we had saved for like 8 months for. And we were about to get ready to board the plane. And I had been figuring out how I wanted to propose. And we were about to basically go to sit down and get ready to get on the plane. Go wait in the, I don't know, what are those called? Where all the chairs are? The terminal. So so I had it all planned, and I actually asked her in a little like walkway. Not little, it was wide. We didn't take up the whole walkway. We actually moved all the way to the side. There was a handrail, and we just kind of, I did it right there. And it was a very personal proposal, and it made it very special. And it was right before we got on the plane because it was going to be, hey, let's not just have this be a vacation. Let's make this like an engagement trip. You know what I mean? And it was really nice, and I know she really liked it. So don't do that to other people's stuff. You know, if you're at like a, which I mean you could do it here I guess, but if you were at like maybe a friend's barbecue, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But not at like a special
big difference
event.
between a barbecue
and a
wedding.
wedding. Especially like your sister's wedding. It'd be even worse if it was a wedding that they like neither of them were really super close to the person. They just kind of got invited.
Yeah.
And then that'd be like, hey, get the fuck out. Let's see what some of these comments say though, because we've been talking about our opinion about it because we felt pretty strongly about this one. Some of the comments though. The top comment: "You're the asshole. Does the boyfriend not know how trashy and rude it is to do that? The only acceptable way to do that is with the bride and groom's consent ahead of time. And OP was put on the spot, so it's understandable that you said yes. Or you could have just whisper shouted at him, 'Hush, not here, not now. I'll marry you, but don't want to do this now.' Regardless, you should be ashamed and apologetic that your boyfriend did something so classless at someone else's wedding. What's the point in saying it's not my fault when it's your partner? He wasn't invited. You were invited and brought the guy." I'm emphasizing words because they them all caps. "You are ultimately responsible for his behavior. If someone I invite brings a shitbird to my wedding and ruins it, I wouldn't accept it." And then they specifically referenced something that they said, "It wasn't me. It was this shitbird that I brought to your wedding as my +1. Doesn't that just sound ridiculous?" No, you're definitely not responsible for other people.
Yeah.
If it's your child, that's one thing. But if it's a grown-ass adult, you are not responsible for their behavior. You can... I do think that out of courtesy, she should have apologized and be like, "Hey, I'm so sorry that like he did that," but that doesn't make you the asshole to not do that. She should go to her fiance and say, "Hey, I think you should apologize to my sister." But
definitely.
But apologizing on other people's behalf doesn't solve the problem. It sounds to me like OP's sister just wants, or at least this commenter, it sounds like they're the kind of person that's like, "I want an apology from you, even if you're not the one who did it, just so that I feel better about myself." So no, I don't think that that OP's the asshole. I disagree with that comment.
No, yeah, I completely disagree. You want to do one more?
Yeah, we'll do one more. We got one more. By the way, I looked at it. Both of those last two, the general consensus is that they were both assholes. Let's see. We've already talked about weddings. Okay. Ooh, here we go. Am I the asshole for refusing to be a bridesmaid at my 22 male best friend's 21 female wedding?
Wait. I'm sorry. Hold on. What? Here, let me read it.
I got you.
Just let me read the title. Okay.
All right. I'm going to read the whole thing. My best friend is married to her boyfriend of 4 years, and they... Okay, this is me reading how they wrote it, so just bear in mind. My best friend is married to her boyfriend if 4 years, and they going to have their ceremony on a few months. She wants me to be a bridesmaid, which I am 100% okay with, and would love to be one for her. I want for her wedding day to be great for her and go off with as little problems as possible. Wow, I'm struggling to read this one. When I agreed to be one of her bridesmaids, I had no idea the stipulations of this. She had 3 conditions that I'm not willing to meet to be her bridesmaid. She wants me to wear makeup that matches what her and the other bridesmaids are wearing, and she wanted me to wear a dress. When she first told me all of these things, I thought she was joking and laughed. When she assured me that she was being serious, I told her I didn't think I was okay with all of those things. She was mad. She said she didn't understand how her best friend could refuse to be her bridesmaid. I told her that I couldn't help what I am and are not comfortable with doing. Just to clarify, I'm extremely comfortable with my masculinity, but wearing makeup and dresses is something I am just 100% not comfortable with. I love my friend so much, but this really isn't something I'm willing to do. When I tried to explain this to her, she got even more mad. She told me it was her day, and I told her I understood that, but I wasn't willing to do that. She then told me that she'd prefer me to just not go to the wedding at all. I don't know if it's worth mentioning, but I am bi. For a while, when I started discovering my sexuality, I thought that because I was attracted to men, I was gay. I had never seen any other gay people other than TV, so I tried to become like them. I was a total stereotype, and at one point did drag. I didn't enjoy it, and don't really even enjoy watching drag shows at all. I grew out of that phase and realized it's possible to want to have sex with other men, but not be incredibly flamboyant and still watch sports. LOL. The argument was 3 days ago and we haven't spoken since. Am I the asshole?
I don't really think that guy's an asshole because like kind of like how he put it, like everybody has like certain boundaries they don't want to cross, and I can get behind that. Now, would I have done it? Fuck yeah, I would have done that in a heartbeat. I'd throw a dress on, hell. But can't blame that guy for not wanting to do it, you know.
I can't say the same thing. I wouldn't have done it.
I would have done it.
I wouldn't have done it. No, I don't think he's the asshole at all.
Yeah, I don't think he's an asshole. No.
Like it would be one thing if he was a woman who will wear dresses, but like, you know, there's a social stigma with men wearing dresses and women, I guess, wearing suits. I mean, women wear suits for like business reasons, but like, there's a stigma about men wearing dresses. And to pretend that stigma doesn't exist is you know, incorrect.
Yeah, I don't agree with it.
Yeah,
but
you don't have
it is there.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have to like. It's one of those things. Just like I'm just telling you the game you're playing. You know what I mean? Don't hate the player, hate the game.
Yeah.
And he's not comfortable doing it. He's not comfortable wearing dresses. I feel like he'd probably be a little more comfortable wearing makeup. I know that, and you know, there are men that will wear like eyeliner and such, and you know,
you ever seen me in
stuff.
eyeliner?
Huh?
Have you ever seen me in eyeliner?
No.
That shit makes my eyes pop like firecrackers, dude.
Dude, I was watching scenes from Taken the other day, and there's this like one of the baddies that he fights in the very end. He's got an eyeliner. He's a Middle Eastern man with eyeliner, and so I mean, you know, that's one thing. I think they'd probably be okay with that. But when you know that there's a social stigma behind it, and you're asking them to do that, and they say, "Look, I'm not comfortable with that," and you blow up at them and just disinvite them from the whole wedding, your supposed best friend.
Yeah.
I think you're being unreasonable.
Definitely the uninviting part. That's a little much, in my opinion. But no, I don't think this guy's the asshole.
No, I certainly don't think so. Let's take a look at what some of these comments are saying about it. Let's see. Not the asshole. Bridezillas have this thing where they reduce people into props for their wedding instead of actually being reasonable. Why can't you wear a suit in the same color as the other bridesmaids? And someone responded, because then she wouldn't have her quirky bisexual bestie in a dress so she could brag about how woke and accepting she is. Honestly, let's call it what it is. Not the asshole OP. Someone's like, quirky bisexual bestie, and I'm like, damn.
Yeah, oof.
Fucking put her on the fucking spot. I'm telling that's pretty accurate, actually. Let's see. Okay. No, it just reiterates about people being props. But I think the general consensus on this one is that OP is not the asshole. OP, I will say that you're definitely not the asshole. You know, when we talk about like social stigmas, it's similar to one of the ones that I've heard about, you know, being a man and being a man that's a little bit larger. You know, not like fat, but like just a wider, taller, not super tall, but like to women I am. And how it's like being in a one-on-one situation, there's like this almost inherent intimidation that comes with that territory of being, you know, if I'm in a room and everybody else gets up and leaves and it's just me and one other person and she's a woman, being aware that the kind of space that I take up, you know, and being aware of like the social intimidation that comes with being a man. You know, the same people who will talk about that will then turn around and say that, like, you know, men should wear dresses and which is fine. But then when a man doesn't want to wear a dress, they're called bigots, or they're called, like, you know, you're just fitting the stereotype. Well, you know, I'm a man. I fit the stereotype no matter what I do. You get what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, no, I don't think Opie's the asshole. People have things that they're uncomfortable with, and to just disinvite over such a small thing. So it's not like she's saying, hey, the colors for my bridesmaids' dresses are purple, and he says, oh, well, I'm not comfortable with purple, so I'm gonna wear green. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's simply not wanting to wear a dress because you're a man.
Yeah, so, real quick,
Yeah.
before we move on into our review, I want to tell a quick little story that relates to Molly. We recently finished watching Umbrella Academy. We're caught up now. And at some point in season 2, Umbrella Academy is about a family of superheroes that are very dysfunctional, and they're not blood related, but they were raised together as siblings. And 2 of them have feelings for one another. And at one point, I don't remember what exactly was going on, but Molly looks at me and goes, incest is wincest. And I said, Molly, I'm going to have to ask you a huge favor. I need you to literally never say that to me again.
Internet joke.
Still. And then I think she said something like that. Well, I know you don't believe it.
No, you know that, but they don't.
But she said...
Nah, my
I don't
fiance is
remember,
definitely
like,
down
what
with some
you-
incest.
What you replied to that, but
I can't wait.
I immediately was like, yeah, but like, you know, it costs you nothing to call it anything different. Like, you don't have to call it that.
Call it what?
Incest is wincest. I was like, you it costs nothing to say something else.
Honestly, it costs you nothing just to shut up about it.
It's like, yeah. Anyway, so...
I mean, I don't know, man. My cousin be looking pretty, like...
Shut the fuck up.
He's got a
you.
nice ass.
Dune.
Okay. Just saying, yo, hey,
Dude,
man. Call me.
If we make it big, do you think people will start making, like, gay ships of us? Like, fanfic?
Oh, man.
I hope so. I want to read it. If they do, let's read that shit on the podcast.
Look, if they do, it's gotta be just as good, and like, by good I mean cringy, as fucking the Harry Potter fan fiction. My Immortal. Look.
Oh, God.
I don't know about that one.
Have you haven't heard that? I'm gonna change your life.
I don't know if you are.
Oh yeah.
But for anybody that does want to write fanfic about us, I'm definitely a top.
Dumbledore. Look, anybody who has seen it knows exactly what I'm talking about, and you know that it's fucking hilarious.
Anyway, let's get into Dune, boys.
Hey, real
We're
quick,
right into Dune.
pause this and go to YouTube and watch My Immortal.
God.
Anyway, okay, so Frank Herbert's Dune, the miniseries by Sci-Fi Channel, directed by some unknown probably. I look it up and it's like Tarantino
I
directed
can't
it.
think
Like,
of who
what?
it was. I looked it up earlier. I just don't remember. We have
so-
some notes. By some notes, I mean I have almost 2 whole pages of notes.
This is part 1. This will be either 2 or 3 parts depending on how we divide up watching the rest of it.
Depending on if I can just bear to sit down for the rest of it in one sitting.
It's pretty long. It's 4.5 hours.
Yeah, like was it 4:23? I think.
Yeah, and we are 2 hours in. So general thoughts. You know, I wanted to refrain from asking you about your general thoughts while we watched it earlier and afterwards because I knew we wanted to talk about it on the podcast.
General thoughts, it's way better than the movie.
Yeah.
It is much better than the movie. Based off of what I've seen, it's so far a much better adaptation.
Mm-hmm.
It's far more faithful to the book so far. I think the acting is good. It looks nice, despite the fact that we had to watch it in blown up 480p. It looks nice.
It looks
dated. It definitely dated.
It looks. I mean, by nice, are you saying it looks nice? Or are you saying it looks better than Dune 1980?
It looks nice compared to the movie.
Okay. Because here's the deal. It's a sci-fi original, Sci-Fi Channel original. Sci-Fi Channel is notorious for their not great special effects and their low quality films. But with that being said, there was. It doesn't look terrible. It looks like it fits maybe on a little bit higher pedestal than the normal Sci-Fi Channel. Mm-hmm. It's a slightly better quality. For amazing to me was the performances especially for a sci-fi channel, like the performances were really well done.
Yeah. You want to hop into the notes?
Yeah, we'll start reading some of these notes. Yeah.
Let's rattle off a couple.
Let's see. Okay. Biggest note so far. I don't know if it does this the whole way through, but if it doesn't, that'd be great. Because it doesn't do this. There is no head voice.
There's no inner monologue like there is in the movie. Thank God.
And not only that, it's because of it. It's more clear what the characters want. It's very clear about what the characters' goals are.
When I made the note, I
one.
wrote in all caps, no dumb inner monologue. But my thing is, when it comes to writing in all caps, I fuck up a lot. So if you look at my note, you can tell where I've accidentally written a lowercase letter and then gone back over it in uppercase.
Look, I'm not trying to read your notes. I'm just trying to focus on trying to read mine.
So in the movie we see the navigator aliens, and we see it again.
Which is not
in the miniseries.
Which is not in the first book, at least. I don't know if it's in the other books, but it's not in the book.
I think I've read that it is in the second book.
But it's in it a lot less. It's in it for 20 seconds.
We've only seen it one scene so far.
Yeah.
And the note that I have written about it is Big Moth Head. So no shit, when this thing comes... Oh, no, Big Moth Head wasn't the alien. Big Moth Head was...
This one looked like a nutsack at first.
The woman, yeah. When the alien first comes up, it looks like a nutsack. Yeah. And then it spreads its wings, and it's like this weird, butterfly face crab creature.
Almost like a bat. I said that it looks like it has the body of a bat, and the head of if you've ever seen Scooby-Doo Alien Invaders, there's the girl that Shaggy kind of falls in love with throughout the film, and in the end it turns out she's an alien. The alien version of that, the head of that alien is essentially what the head of this thing looks like, but brown, with the body of a bat. I don't know how to better explain the head. If you haven't seen that movie, go watch it. It's not terrible. I'm sure you can find a copy. I'm sure you can find it on 123 Movies. It's
Don't pirate, kids.
Well, it's funny because technically we're kind of pirating this one, trying to watch
it. It's on YouTube. It's
probably
not legally, but it is on YouTube.
Well, here's the deal: who gives a fuck? Because we tried to find it.
We looked for so long.
I was willing to purchase it digitally so that we could watch it. It's not available to stream anywhere. It's not available to the closest we could find to buying it was $25 for it
for the physical
on Amazon
Blu-ray.
To buy the Blu-ray, and I'm like, I don't feel like waiting till the Blu-ray gets here. It's really hard to get a hold of this one, which is a shame because it's so much better than the other one. At least so far.
I found my note before it spread its arm. Okay, so one thing I want to talk about, I don't know, we'll talk more about it when we get into the actual number crunch, but the color schemes in this movie shift depending on setting and depending on who the character that we're focusing on is, and it is
very good,
very well done.
The only complaint I have about it is that sometimes the colors are just too much of the color. If they want to go with red, it's super red. If they want to go with blue, it is like the Blue Man Group blue. Yeah. They go in on how vibrant their colors are.
Fucking the Baron Harkonnen still floats.
Not as
much. He's not flying around like a circus freak. He floats twice, I think, in the bit that we watched, and it wasn't for long, but still he floats. Whatever.
Still he floats. Yeah. Again, though, Baron Harkonnen's a lot better in this one too.
Yeah, he doesn't look disgusting. He looks like a really big fat guy, like he's supposed to. Mm-hmm. Worm. Damn, nature.
Hold on.
You scary.
The box looks cooler, except the special effects are a little suspect sometimes. We'll get into that a little bit.
Yeah.
But the worms, dude, the worm looks so good.
Like frightening.
Dude, yeah, there were when the worm showed up, I was genuinely like, "Oh fuck." It comes out of the sand, and we get this really cool shot from over two characters' shoulder, and it's between them, but huge, and the worm looks scarier than it has in any of the other ones. It looks terrifying. The best way I can describe it is if you've seen King Kong. Remember when they fell into the bug pit? And you've seen King Kong, right?
Which one?
The Andy Serkis is in it, 2004.
Oh yeah,
Peter Jaxxon.
Peter Jaxxon.
They fall into the bug pit, and then there are these worms that kill Andy Serkis's character because they grab him by the arm and then on top of the head, and he has the machete. It's like one of those kind of worms, except just at least 100 times larger. It's massive. Duke Leto is a really cool character in this one. He's really cool. I like what they did with Gurney Halleck. Everybody got an upgrade from the last one.
Yeah. Fade isn't Fade Rafa again. He's not quite portrayed. Actually, they make him seem like just a dickhead again.
Yeah.
Instead of like portraying him as just this kid that wants his uncle's approval.
A comment I wrote on here, a note I wrote, these shields look so much cooler.
Yeah.
Because what they do is you don't see the shield until they would be hit.
Yeah, until it like deflects a blade. Mm-hmm. And then it's like a shimmer where it deflected it.
It's pretty cool, actually, the way that they did that. Let's see. Why the alien again?
We got the funeral scene this time. Jameis's funeral.
Mm-hmm. It's great. It's a great scene.
They left that out of the movie, and that's
They left that whole fight out of the... That fight didn't happen in the other movie.
Was Jameis even in the movie?
I don't think so. Jameis was in it. By the way, the fight scene with him and Jameis was good, too.
Pretty dope.
It was a cool fight scene. They're like throwing kicks and shit. Yeah. They were like down to just their cloth, like loincloth or underwear or whatever. It was really cool. It was like watching two Spartans fight each other. Two training Spartans from 300.
My last note is Idaho didn't die? ? And then dash never mind. Because in this, Duncan Idaho does not die where he's supposed to, or where he died in the book. Instead, he dies like a few minutes later when a missile gets shot at him. Yeah.
There were two parts that confused me a little bit for character motivation. One of them was Dr. Yue. While I, having read the book, understand why he was doing something, they didn't express it at all.
They stated it, but they didn't it didn't feel like they were trying to inform me as what's going on. But they did bring it up once.
Well, what happens is, Duke Leto bites his tooth and everything and sprays the poison, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you hadn't read the book, you would have never known that had been a thing.
Yeah,
they never said that. They never said that they replaced his tooth. They never said it was filled with gas.
They did show the replace. He pulls the tooth out, and he's just like, you got to bite down on the tooth. But that's, it. He's like, I'll give you the final vengeance against the bear, and just bite the tooth, and then that's all we see.
He's like, I'm saving my wife, and then it's just not really ever explained why, or what does he mean by that.
In the movie, we see him pull the Duke's tooth, and then put the tooth back in.
Yeah. It's and the other thing is, so after the Harkonnens take over the Atreides compound, I guess you would call it. They take Paul and the Lady Jessica out to the desert and leave them there, which is not what happens in the book. In the book, they're flying out towards the desert, and they're gonna kill them out there and leave their body for the worm to eat. But then the Lady Jessica and Paul using their voices that they have powers with, they can they convince them to kill each other off and let them go. Basically, is what they do. And in the movie, they just drive them out. They fly them out there, let them go, and then they come
in the desert,
and then they come and they chase them back again. They just do that, and then they're like, "Oh, we got to run away from the Harkonnens," and the Harkonnens decide to come back and try and get them. And I'm like, "Well, why didn't you just kill them in the first place?"
Just go ahead and murder
them. It genuinely doesn't make any sense. I don't know why that was changed, because that's also an important moment for Paul and the Lady Jessica's relationship as mother and son, and also as Bene Gesserit. But also, the Reverend Mother has this weird costume piece. By the way,
that's the thing I wrote. Let me say it. In my notes, I wrote, okay, so the hats, the headpieces of the costumes in this film are all pretty weird, but
not good.
The Reverend Mother, is it Galen Hyatt? Galen?
I don't know.
Something Mohayim. Anyway, she has this hat that is basically just like a cap with giant moth wings. And that's the note that I read earlier.
All the headpieces in this one are a little whack, but
big moth head.
But we'll get into the costumes later. I just wanted to bring that up though. Yeah. That some things were a little unclear. The last note I had was Also, the difference is the princess is in this movie, and the emperor. They're both in this one, even though in the book they don't show up till the very end. And not only are they in this one, it seems like they were trying to push some sort of romance between Paul and the princess.
Yeah, it seems like they're trying to grow a bond there when it's very clear in the book that, like, the Princess Irulan is, like, nothing to Paul. She's literally a last name to Paul.
Yeah.
And it's not making it play out like that in the miniseries.
I wrote a potential love triangle might happen.
Yeah.
But the last note I had was fight with Jameis was cool.
Fight with Jameis was
it's a cool fight. So I guess now we can get into the numbers.
Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's start
So,
at the top.
lighting.
No. I'm going to be
great.
completely honest with you. I'm going to give it a 10.
You give it a 10?
Well, actually, I'll give it a 9 because you're right. Sometimes the colors were, like, too in your face.
Do you want the color to go under light? Or do you want the color... I guess, yeah, I mean, that was technically lighting,
I
so
mean,
yeah.
they do that color with light, yeah. I give it a 9 because of that. If it wasn't as harsh in scenes, that's a 10 for me.
Yeah. I think that the only problems I had with lighting really was... That was one of them. But another problem I had was that sometimes it didn't always blend well with the green screen. Like, sometimes the lighting that they had on the actors and on the set piece that was physically there didn't match the lighting that was on the backdrop that was on the green screen.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't always match up. So it might be...
I didn't catch that.
So, like, basically, I could see where the green screen started and where their set ended because the lighting didn't match up.
Okay.
Where when they're in the desert, you know, the lighting the light is coming from in front of them on their face, but behind them...
like we can clearly see the sun, but,
in
like,
the
their
background.
shadows are,
Yeah.
like... It's like if I can't really explain this audibly, but if, like, it's basically if the sun is hitting my back, but my shadow is going at a 90-degree angle to my left, it's kind of like that.
Yeah, it didn't match up well, and I guess there wasn't as much forethought into that. So for that reason, I would give it an 8, and so I'm fine to meet an 8.5.
Yeah, that works for me. Yeah. Like I said, I never caught that. I did catch that specific part where the sun is in front
And
of him.
it happened only a couple of times, but for the most part, for 2000 Sci-Fi Channel, you know, CGI, it blended pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Sound was good. I mean, I could hear what people were saying.
Sometimes. Sometimes we can hear what people were saying.
Yeah. Granted, you got to remember the quality of the version we have, but that's the version we have to go off of.
Yeah, I mean, I can't review something that I watched on my phone for its cinematic quality on the big screen, you know. So I mean, people might like be like, "Oh, well, you know, you're cheaping it," but like, I mean, we gotta review what we saw.
I think the sound design was pretty good though. You know, for the ships.
Yeah, I like the way the ship
stuff.
sounded and all that, but sometimes I didn't know what they were saying, and it didn't help that the captions were
in Spanish,
and we couldn't turn them off.
The version
which
we
I don't
could
mind
find.
that, like that's fine, until I can't hear what they're saying, and then I'm like, okay, that's a bummer.
Wish these were English captions, yeah. So what do you think for sound then?
It's like a 7.
7? I could do 7, yeah. Cinematography. Pretty great.
Okay, I specifically skipped this note while we were going over notes because I wanted to wait until cinematography to say it. There is a motif where whenever we focus on the Harkonnens, it's like nothing but Dutch angles.
Yeah, yep.
And you know me, I'm wet for a Dutch angle. Like
You should watch Battlefield Earth. They're like all over the place.
Like one of my favorite shots in like the newer It movies is when they come to the house and it's just like the long Dutch angle. I'm like, dude, this is
Yeah, dude.
But I loved that.
It's all motivated. You know what I mean? It doesn't. None of the shots ever seemed like they were like, hey, look, we got to get this, set up the camera, go. It seemed like everything was motivated. It was very smooth transitions too. Very good transitions. The camera movements were very smooth. And a lot of those shots, you know, while I can definitely tell that it's CGI because, I mean, it's Sci-Fi Channel and it's Sci-Fi Channel effects in 2000.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
dated
as fuck. It still looked cool. And I was never...
still looked better than the movie.
I mean, when the worm came, I was still just like,
dude,
and maybe that's more for...
I was freaking.
Maybe that's... I think the worm scene, the reason it worked so well is that there was a blend of good cinematography on the actors and the practical stuff, and the good special effects. I think those special effects were pretty good. They are the best in the movie.
Wait, special effects a thing? Is that the topic we're on? I may have spaced
No,
out
we're on cinematography.
Cinematography, right?
So
okay.
I think the cinematography is very well done.
It's pretty good. Nothing to like write your ma about, but what do you think about a 7.5?
I was gonna go 8. So
yeah, I think eight's fine. Yeah.
Look, this kind of goes without saying. Everything in here was better than the other movie.
Oh, in every way, shape, and form. The only thing. Actually, no. Yeah.
Maybe
had nothing.
Maybe the worm design of the other one was pretty because of the opening up on floors was pretty cool.
I liked the color of the worm more in the movie because
Yeah.
that's just the way I. Can I be real with you?
Mm-hmm.
I loved the worm in this movie.
Yeah.
They're in the miniseries. Until it opened its mouth, it looked like a turd.
Yeah. But dude, when it opened, and it's larger, and it also had that thing where like it seemed like the skin on the word came back a little bit, and like there was like more like there's like a layer, like almost a protective layer on the outside of the worm, because it seemed like it did this number right here, like it's like the protective layer, and it peeled back when it jumped up to try and eat the ship. Which doesn't happen in the book, but actually I think was a welcome.
Yeah, it was just cool.
I think it's a welcome change. I think it was fine. Yeah. When it came up, the skin kind of pulled back and it went just a little bit. Not much. Not like just a little bit. But I still thought it was pretty cool. It seemed like this worm had more layers to it than the other one.
Yeah.
So, which actually brings us to what we're at with special effects.
Special effects again. The worms, dope.
Yep.
The ships look cool.
I think the special effect designs look cool. Do they look real? Like they're tangibly there? Not a lot of the time, no.
Yeah, like the worm looked cool, the ship looks cool, but when you look at the worm and you look at the ship, you're like, yeah, that's made by a computer for sure.
Yeah, because it's dated as hell.
Dated as hell, yeah.
It looks like polygons, but not in a terrible way. The special effects are already better than than the movie, but
I mean, look how far we've come since then, you know.
Well, from 2000 to 85, that's only 15 years.
That's a good bit.
Here's the deal.
That's almost as long as we've been since 2000.
Well, that's what's funny the miniseries is closer to the actual movie than it is to us. It's the year's 2020. It came out in 2000. Totally the movie came out in 84, I believe.
Yeah. Alright, so yeah, but special effects, like they looked cool. It was so clear that it was just special effects. Yeah. I would give it like maybe like a 4.5.
I was gonna go 5.
Yeah, that works. I'll go 5.
Okay. Good for like when you have to consider that it is a miniseries that was made for TV. You have to remember it was made for TV, which tits were in there, but it was made for TV.
Yeah, like I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, I was like, oh, but no, it was made for TV.
It was also butts,
and that means that all of the
It was also butts.
Yeah, but I mean butts are around.
See those.
But it was you have to understand that because it was made for TV, the budget had to be stretched over the entire miniseries. As episodes, not just one movie that's 2.5 hours. So, they had to stretch that budget, and it was fucking Sci-Fi Channel. And these, compared to the other Sci-Fi Channel stuff, these effects were like Oscar worthy.
Yeah.
But we'll move on to costume design. I think for the most part, they're all pretty great.
The headpieces were bad, but apart from that. They're pretty cool.
I definitely
the Princess Irulan. She wears this like white gown with butterflies on them,
but not like a butterfly design, like actual butterflies.
Yeah, like butterflies.
I think that I like the Atreides uniforms. Look very cool.
They did look neat.
They look cooler.
The Harkonnen uniforms, they look like samurai Nazis.
It's funny because as you were getting ready to say that, and then you told me, and I was like, okay, I definitely don't feel stupid for saying what I was going to say. They look like the Shredder from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They look like the Shredder, who is a samurai Nazi, essentially.
Basically.
So, yeah. That's cool, though, I guess. It's different. It's not how I would have envisioned them looking. I think that, like we already said, the headpieces are whack as fuck. Mm-hmm. But yeah, outside of that, so when characters aren't wearing hats, because some of the the Atreides soldiers that are wearing the same uniform as the other Atreides that they all wear, it's like this brown, with these, it's like different shades of brown. They're wearing like World War I German helmets that are painted brown.
Yeah.
And then these other guys who are like the princess like guard escorts, they're wearing fucking the Muffin Man hats. They're wearing baker's hats. I was like, get out of here, Baker boy. Because they almost got in a fight with Gurney Halleck, who is a badass in this one. Gurney Halleck is so much cooler in this one. But costume design, if it wasn't for the hats, I would probably give it an 8. But because of the headpieces, I was gonna give it like a 6.
I was gonna give really damn.
Yeah, I'd give it a 6. Those
I
headpieces
give it
are really
like a 6.5.
Because think about it, when people are talking, where are you normally looking at?
Their face.
I'm looking at their face, their
some
head.
People do that.
Looking at shut up. I'm looking at their head. So I have to look at that stupid fucking headpiece they have on. One dude's got like this like pharaoh headpiece. It's like purple, and I'm like, oh, come on.
Fade her off. I had a headpiece. It was just a giant triangle.
He did. Yeah, he did.
And I saw it, and I was just like, dude, Fade her off is the leader of the Illuminati.
So, what would you give?
I was gonna give it a 7.
Okay, I'll do 6.5.
Okay.
So set design.
Set design was good.
It was really good.
It was fire.
I was watching this, and I think I actually wrote the note down. And let me see if I can find the note that I wrote for set design. Where did I put that? I just wrote the design is really well done. I think I wrote what I wrote was it's a good note. The set pieces are phenomenal. They have good visual callbacks, and I think what I also wrote about the set design is that they fit the fiction.
Mm-hmm.
They fit the narrative, and they fit it very well. There was a clear effort put in. They have these big set pieces.
Oh yeah,
like, huge. They're very well done. So I like the set design a lot.
Yeah, I thought it was great.
Let me think of my notes here. It's pretty cool.
I give it an 8.5. Is lovely. They actually, one thing that they never showed in the movie that they did show in the miniseries is, do you remember the how like they had like the huge fountain in like the kind of foyer of their building?
Yep.
That was in the miniseries, and it looked nice. It was a cool looking fountain.
So performances. What do you think? We're on to performances.
Oh, I thought it was great. I liked Paul's dude.
Yeah, he seemed like a teenager.
Yeah.
In this one, and I don't mean like
he didn't look like one, but he definitely played like one.
He didn't seem like the woe is me, I'm moody teenager. He seemed like the, I don't give a fuck. And he's got an attitude of a teenager. He, he's very opinionated and he wants his opinions to be heard. He, to the point where he's like in a meeting. He almost pulled a Prince Zuko in the meeting with his father and like other people, where he like spoke out and was like, "No, this is a bad idea. We should do this instead." Right. And Duke looked pretty upset for a second there, but then got over it pretty quick when all the other people were like, "Yeah, that's a good idea." Gurney is really cool. I think Gurney, the actor who played Gurney, and the actor who played the Duke Leto, man, he's a lot cooler in this movie, and his performance is really good too. Oh, yeah. I don't know any of their names. I looked them all up on Wikipedia, and I think they were all known for this part, their parts in this. I
was actually scrolling through the cast on Wikipedia earlier, and what's the name of Lady Jessica's daughter?
Cheney 2.0. I don't know.
That's definitely not it. But anyway, if you go and you scroll through the cast until you get to the actress that played her profile picture is that role.
Damn.
Yeah.
Of course, you can't forget James McAvoy. He was also in the Children of Dune movie. Mm-hmm. But
was that a movie or was that a miniseries?
I think it was a miniseries. Oh, God. Yeah. It may have been a TV movie.
Maybe.
I don't know. Yeah. But the performances are really well done in this one. I think you guys will enjoy them. Even the, I don't think there's really any. The only performance I guess I have kind of an issue with is still Baron Harkonnen, because he's playing high pitched fucking. Mm-hmm. That's not how he's supposed to sound. But he's doing good with what he's given too. So, and what he's given is, decent. So I don't really think there's any performance that's just bad. So what do you think for performances?
I give the performances an 8.
An 8? I was gonna give it a 9.
I'll meet you in the middle there.
Okay, writing.
It's Dune.
I mean, it's an adaptation, but there's some extra stuff in there that works and some extra stuff that doesn't work.
Yeah, I like the extra stuff with Idaho.
Yeah, and the assassin.
Oh, right! The scene after the Hunter Seeker tries to kill Paul, they, like, actually chase down the assassin who's, like, trying to kill people as he escapes, and they kill him. Which was a surprise to me. But nah, I mean, I give the writing probably an 8 because of the stuff that just didn't work.
Yeah. Overall, though, it is, I guess, like, I mean, like we've said, it's an adaptation. It's more faithful than the other movie.
It's definitely more faithful.
And at no point watching this am I just thinking, okay, well, what the fuck's going on? Because that was a problem with the last one. Is like, having read the book, I still didn't know what was going on half the time. And there's people with internal monologue telling us what they feel.
Yeah, and
so that should definitely not happen. But this one, there's none of that, and I never have to question what people's motivations are, except for maybe once. I generally know exactly what's going on the entire time. And no, I think I agree with you. I'd give the writing an 8 as well. Pace.
Pace? I thought the pace was pretty good.
I agree.
You know, it would build to something, and then we'd, what is it? Peaks and troughs. And troughs.
I think that for it to be a 4, I mean, we got 2 hours in, and I was still willing to keep going because, I mean, for it to be 4.5 hours long, it didn't feel, what we've seen already didn't feel that long.
Yeah, it didn't.
It was, they don't linger too long when they don't have to, and they hit the beats they need to. And I really wasn't checking the time. I only checked the time a couple times just to like see where they were at with the, if you look at the entire thing as 100%, and then you compare to where that would be in the book. Like if we're 25% through the miniseries, but only 5% into the book, you know what I mean? And it matched up pretty well. The only thing I would say about the pacing is they did get to the Gom Jabbar pretty quick. I mean, it happens within the first 90 pages of the book, but it's like the second scene is the Gom Jabbar scene, and I was like, whoa.
So,
okay.
So real quick, off topic, ESPN made a post. 26 years ago today, Victor Crumb made the controversial decision to catch the snitch and end the Quidditch World Cup final on his own terms. The finish gave the victory to Ireland, 170 over 160.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
We're going to do Harry Potter on here at some point.
Yeah, we'll do that eventually.
So anyway, pace, what would you give that one?
7.5.
7.5?
7.5.
I think I can do that. I was going to give it a 2, but I'll meet you at 7.5.
Oh, shit. Well, hold on, let's talk about that.
Directing. What do you think?
I mean, it's better than fucking movie.
David Lynch did not do a good job on
Better
this
than
one.
fucking movie.
But taking out...
look up who the director was for this. I'm a
taking out...
it was John Harrison.
Taking out...
Who also directed Disney's Dinosaur.
Nice.
Yeah. Tales from the Dark Side, Residue, Blank Slate, yada, yada, yada. If I find anything interesting, I'll tell you.
Look.
Ooh, Dawn of the Dead.
Which one?
Dawn of the Dead. The 78 Dawn of the Dead.
Oh, that was him?
Hmm?
Nice.
Or no, it's, no, I think he acted in it, sorry.
Okay, look. Taking out the 1984 version of the film, not comparing it to that at all, direction for this film.
Direction for this film,
I think is pretty damn good. It seems...
Yeah, it was good.
It seems like everything is motivated. He's not just filling in. Things aren't just happening. It seems like everything is discussed.
He's not just like trying to hit the beats from the book, and he's not just trying to like get a copy paste from the book. I think he's trying to do things.
I think he's actively trying to craft the best version of Dune that he can.
Yeah, and he did a good job.
He's doing a good job so far.
We haven't finished it. You're right. Well, what we've seen so far has been.
I think he's managed. Look, if nothing else, he's shown that he can get those good performances out of his actors. Even actors that don't have as high a pedigree as any of the mainstream actors who will be in the new Dune adaptation, those who I guess at the time were probably had some sort of name for the other one. He's managing to get good performances out of his actors and motivated performances and motivated set pieces and motivated lighting. He's actively making these things happen, and no, I definitely think the direction for this one is very well done. Much better than the other one, but even on its own, I definitely think it's far from the worst thing about this. I think the worst thing about this is definitely the special effects, just because there's not really anything you can help. You can just do your best to make them look better. Do your best to give you the most to work with, but I think he has made this, I think, as good as it could have been.
I agree.
Aside from the writing,
he
probably didn't have control over that.
Yeah, he's giving us what I think is like the peak version of what they could have done with the limitations they had in 2000.
Yeah, the only thing I think that they could have done differently was maybe those writing that we were talking about, but I don't know if this guy wrote any of this adaptation.
Yes, I believe him and let me see. Writers John Harrison and Frank Herbert.
Okay.
Which explains a lot.
I would have really pushed to exclude those extra things that they didn't need. But even those things don't take away too much from it. I mean, we gave the writing an 8. They don't really take much away from it. It's still enjoyable on its own. So no, I think that he's done a great job directing. He's given the most with what he had. Yeah, it's something on your arm, Chief. He's given the most with what he has, and what he has is a good little bit for the time and for what they're going for. So no, I think I would give the direction like an 8.5, honestly.
All right.
And that we usually try to do 10 categories to give numbers for. I think 10 is a sweet number, and then we will crunch those together. We find the average, and that is our score as a duo. So I'm gonna go ahead and start crunching those numbers.
Yeah. Relatively high considering some of the things we've done.
So the number that we have, our score for Frank Herbert's Dune miniseries Part 1 is a 7.6. I'm sure what we'll wind up doing is we'll take all the
final scores and just pull them together.
And that'll be the overall score.
Yep.
But I think that's pretty accurate. And finally, we have reviewed a movie that is not bad.
Yeah, it was good.
It's been a minute since we've done that.
We got a nice break. It's been since 4th of July.
And hopefully next week will be good. We're going to review the Batman couple animated films.
Go ahead and tell them which one we're going to do.
But anyway, though, final score 7.6 for Frank Herbert's Dune miniseries Part 1. That's a mouthful. And next week, or I assume it'll be a week. That's usually how we've been doing it.
Yeah, on the next episode of Unscripted.
On the next episode of Unscripted with Kris and Luke, we are going to be reviewing 2 animated Batman films. So you're going to get 2 for the price of 1, which is 0, because we don't charge anything. Who would pay for this?
That's right. Buy nothing and get it all free.
Yeah, exactly. So double the trouble. We're going to do Batman versus Dracula. And we're going to do Under the Red Hood. We might wind up watching more of them while we watch these, but those are the 2 we're going to review on the podcast.
Yeah.
If we watch any of the other ones, we'll talk about them. But we're going to watch both of those for sure. We're going to review those on the next one. And thank you guys so much for listening. It really means a lot. We do this because it's fun and we like to do this, but it's really encouraging. Each of our videos seem to get more responses as we put them out, at least of our podcast. Yeah. Because each time it seems that the people they get more well received. I think I can actually pull that up real quick and tell you guys a little bit about that.
And we definitely couldn't be saying that without y'all lovelies.
Let's take a look here. Okay, so and by the way, like we said before, thanks everybody who's been subscribing. And aside from our first podcast, they seem to only get more views and more responses. The first one has 25 views, but after that we started at 7.
Yeah.
And it's like 7, 8, 19, 24, 35. And now we have actually our last podcast has the most views, the one that we put out this past week with 40.
Hell yeah.
40 views with 4 upvotes.
Just moving on up there.
So, we really want to thank you guys for that one. If you haven't checked those out, definitely go back and watch those podcasts too. There's a lot of good content on there. Especially not only those podcasts, but a video we uploaded was our first Let's Plays. We call them Unscripted Plays because we are unscripted playing. Mm-hmm. And we did Bullet Roulette VR. It's a real good time. It's really funny. And I assume it's funny. I think so.
If you guys like that, let us know. We'll make some more of those. We had a good time making it for sure.
Yeah, it was certainly fun. We definitely like playing video games and just
it's
talking
only
shit while
one
we
of
do
my
it.
favorite things to do. Yeah.
All
right. Well, yeah.
He only buys a new game every week.
Not every week. Not every week.
Every other week.
Granted, 1 week I might buy 4 games, but
it averages out.
Anyway, thank you guys for watching.
Thank you
so
much.
We love y'all, and theme song.
I wanna write a conscious rap, something about other than how I want stacks, so I got any vibes like that. Something more releasing than religion.